At the beginning, they called him crazy. Not once, not as a joke, but over and over again. Every time he talked about his dream, every time he explained the life he wanted to build, people would look at him with that same expression, a mixture of confusion and disbelief, because from their perspective, nothing about his plan made sense. He had no connections, no money, no special advantages, just an idea, and a level of belief that made people uncomfortable. And that's why they called him crazy, because believing in something that doesn't exist yet looks insane to people who only believe in what they can already see. They saw risk. He saw opportunity. They saw failure. He saw growth. They saw growth. They saw someone wasting time. He saw someone building a future. But the truth is, the early stages of every dream look exactly the same. Messy, uncertain, and invisible at first. Nobody understands what you're doing because the results haven't appeared yet. The progress hasn't become obvious, and from the outside, it just looks like you're struggling, working late nights, trying things that fail, starting again, learning the hard way, over and over again, and to people watching from a distance. It looks pointless. They don't see the lessons. They don't see the progress happening behind the scenes. They only see the lack of results. And that's when the comments begin. You should be more realistic. Why don't you do something normal? That will never work. At first, those words sting, not because you believe them, but because you realize something important. Most people aren't afraid of failure. They're afraid of looking foolish while trying, and chasing a dream always looks foolish, until it works so. The people who stay comfortable will always laugh at the people who take risks, because risk exposes fear, and ambition reminds people of the chances they never took. But here's the part they don't understand. The person they called crazy wasn't trying to impress them. He wasn't trying to prove anything to them. He was building something for himself, day after day, quietly. While everyone else moved on with their normal lives, he stayed focused. When things didn't work, he adjusted. When doors closed, he found another path. When the doubt grew louder, he worked harder, and slowly, something began to change, not in the world around him, but inside him. His discipline became stronger. His thinking became sharper. His confidence stopped depending on other people's opinions, because when you spend enough time working on something, you eventually become someone different. The person who started the journey is never the same person who finishes it. And while everyone else was busy judging his dream, he was becoming the type of person capable of achieving it. This is the quiet transformation nobody talks about. Success doesn't start when the results appear. It starts the moment you refuse to quit. Because most people never fail at their dreams. They simply abandon them too early. But he didn't, even when nothing was guaranteed, even when progress was slow, even when people kept calling him crazy. He kept moving forward. And then one day, the results started showing up, small at first, almost invisible. A breakthrough here, a small win there, But momentum had started, and momentum changes everything suddenly. The same people who laughed before started noticing something different. They stopped joking. They stopped criticizing, and slowly they stopped talking altogether, because success has a strange effect on people. It turns laughter into silence. The louder the results become, the quieter the critics get. The same dream that once sounded ridiculous now looks impressive. The same ambition that looked unrealistic now looks inspiring. And the same person they once called crazy now looks like a visionary. But the most interesting part of the story isn't the success. It's the silence. Because the people who once had so much to say now have nothing to say at all. They simply watch from a distance, trying to understand how someone they once doubted became someone they now admire. But the truth is simple. Nothing magical happened. No overnight miracle. No sudden transformation. Just years of quiet work. Discipline when nobody cared. Persistence when nobody believed. And the courage to keep going even when the entire world thought it was a bad idea. That's the real difference. The people who eventually succeed aren't the ones who never get doubted. They're the ones who continue moving forward even when everyone else thinks they're crazy. So, if people are laughing at your vision today, good. If they don't understand your goals, even better, because history has proven something. Again and again, every idea that changes the world sounds crazy in the beginning, until it works, and when it finally works, the laughter disappears, the criticism fades, and the only thing left is silence. The kind of silence that happens when people realize they were watching someone special all along. The person they once called crazy, now becoming the person they can't stop watching.